Hello and welcome to another edition of 10 Count. For UCN Live, I'm Michael Montero, joined by Mike Baca of UCN and Doug Fischer of Ring TV. Guys, let's talk heavyweights. A couple weeks ago, Anthony Joshua dismantled Charles Martin in a two-round destruction over there in the UK in the O2 Arena in front of a massive crowd. The fight sold out in 90 seconds, they say. Anthony Joshua appears to be one of the biggest stars in boxing already. He's only got 16 pro fights in. Could this guy be the next big thing? Not just in the heavyweight division, but in boxing in general.
I think he's already the next big thing in the UK. He's not just the most popular boxer. He's arguably the most popular individual sports figure in the UK. And that's saying a lot. I mean, that's a sports crazy country. And the great thing about it is that the boxing fans there are fiercely loyal. So he's one of those rare UK stars to where if and when he comes to the US, he's going to bring a huge fan contingent with him. And that's rare. We had that with Ricky Hatton. We didn't really get that so much with Amir Khan or Joe Calzaghe or Carl Froch when they came to this side of the pond. Even though they did draw very well in their home country. So that's special. What's also special about him, you know, he's a 2012 Olympian. He's a gold medalist there, but he seems to have a lot of natural talent. He didn't really have a huge, extensive amateur background, but you just look at him, and it looks like he is just the prototypical modern heavyweight. He is as muscular as a human being can be without being muscle-bound. He moves about the ring very well. He's nimble. He's got great reflexes. He has textbook technique, and he seems to have the instincts of a fighter. I think most of us thought he was going to stop Charles Martin, but to do it as quickly and as efficiently as he did, that was an eye-opener.
And it's how he set up the shot, because he was moving Martin to his left. Martin's a southpaw, and that left Martin wide open for that straight right hand. And once he landed it, Martin got up, he landed it again. Mike, looking at Joshua's last fight against Dillian Whyte, where he was buzzed early, and then this fight, did you see improvement in his technique? Did he look better to you?
It's tough to say because I was not impressed with Charles Martin whatsoever in that fight. He looked very tentative, kind of looked nervous. It's hard to judge, but that Dillian Whyte fight was one of those fights you're going to look back at, and you're going to realize that maybe Joshua does have a little bit of a chin. And he can take that punch.
That's what I would call the typical gut check.
Yeah, absolutely.
It lets you know what kind of heart this guy has.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we were to get our lab coats on and concoct a heavyweight, I think we would all come up with Anthony Joshua.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day,
he's like a superhero. Like somebody drew him on paper and he just springed out of the comic book.
One of the most impressive parts about that fight was after the Martin win in the post-fight interview. He was very realistic about his situation. He won the IBF title, but he said, "I'm only a quarter of the way there."
Right.
And I really like that about Martin. He wasn't, he wasn't ready to, take over the world or anything. He was, one step at a time. He realizes the situation. Only 16 fights. He's still a prospect. He just happens to have a world title now.
And that's the world we live in boxing right now, the way the titles go around. But let's kick it to this side of the pond with another heavyweight hopeful, if you will, who has a title, Deontay Wilder, who's going up against Alexander Povetkin. He's actually going over to Russia for this fight because Povetkin's people won the purse bid. Doug, how does that change this fight for you versus if it were in America? How does it change the outlook of this fight?
Well, to me, it makes a fight that's very competitive on paper. It sways the odds in favor of the Russian fighter, obviously, Povetkin. Now, Povetkin is the more battle-tested of the two. He was the better amateur. He was an Olympic gold medalist. He was a world amateur champion. Deontay Wilder, a latecomer to boxing. He was an Olympic bronze medalist and obviously didn't have as extensive an amateur career as Povetkin did. But Deontay Wilder has a lot of natural athleticism, physical tools working for him that Povetkin doesn't have. Povetkin's a very solid heavyweight. He can take a great shot. He proved that against Wladimir Klitschko. Got up from knockdown. So obviously he's got heart. He's got good stamina. The question marks that we have about Deontay Wilder, how good his stamina is, how good his chin is. We don't have those question marks about Povetkin. But Deontay Wilder has elite-level hand speed. He can move around the ring very well, as he proved last January against Bermain Stavern. He can stick and move for 12 rounds if he needs to. So his legs are pretty good for such spindly things. And of course, he has the proverbial eraser. He's got elite level knockout power. Yeah. He's one of those guys where you can be kicking his butt for a number of rounds and he can come back and clip you with one shot and turn a fight around, either drop you or knock you out cold as he did against poor Spilka. So it's an interesting fight. I mean, he's going to hit Povetkin probably harder than anybody has ever hit Povetkin. But Povetkin's going to come at him with a certain level of craft and experience and toughness that Wilder has never seen. So there's checks and balances, but I think the fact that the fight is taking place in Russia, I think that favors, obviously, the Russian.
Mike, does Wilder have to get a knockout to win that fight?
Well, that's a good question, and I haven't thought about it, even though I think Wilder will win by knockout. I think actually the most interesting part of this fight is going to be the drug testing.
I was going to bring that up next, yeah.
And that's a story I'll keep an eye on, and it'll be interesting to see how they deal with it, especially with him going to Russia and them kind of dictating the rules.
It's a WBC title fight.
Yes.
You're supposed to have some kind of relationship with VADA, where the WBC actually pays for the VADA testing.
I believe it's supposed to be through VADA. There was recently a heavyweight title bout over there between Lucas Brown and Ruslan Shagayev, which had VADA testing as well. And Brown was found to have, I think it's Tributerol in his system. He's claiming that it was tainted meat or something like which we've heard before. So there just seems to be things that come out of Russia related to drug testing that add a little more, I don't know, flavor to the story. But one other heavyweight fight coming up that is for the legitimate heavyweight championship, the rematch between Tyson Fury and Wladimir Klitschko has finally been announced. It's on July 9th, and it's in Manchester. And again, Doug, the fact that this won't be in Germany, it's in England, does that change the landscape at all, or does it have more to do with the fact that a lot of time has passed since that first fight, and perhaps Fury hasn't been staying in shape like Vlad?
Yeah, I mean, I slightly favor the former champion, even though he's getting old. He's somebody who stays in shape between fights. Fury lets himself go. It's still going to be a lot of fun. Fury, win, lose, or draw in this rematch, he's still a player in the heavyweight division. He's still a larger-than-life personality. It's the heavyweight division is not what it used to be. It's not Klitschko and the rest of these guys now. Now we have sort of an even landscape, and if Klitschko regains the title, he's just another player.
That's the best thing about it. The heavyweight division is finally hot again. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, for Mike Baca and Doug Fischer. I'm Michael Montero for UCN Live. We'll see you guys next time at 10 Count.